I want you to meet Karen. So, Karen and I were emailing, and she shared with me, I continue to see all around me that it is so difficult to hang on to role models of confident women who feel good about themselves. And you helped me find that for myself. I would be happy to help even one person find that. So, I invited Karen to meet with us today and talk a little bit about her journey. Thank you so much for taking some time to share your experience with the people who've joined us today.
Good to see you as well. So I actually did the online version of your program first, and then I did the Zoom program that you started after COVID. And
Yep.
I think we worked together for probably over a year because then I moved into the coaching area.
Uh-huh.
And it's been a little over 2 years since we formally ended our relationship, although I check back in with you when I need to.
Awesome.
And I'm happy to share today that I really have found the freedom that you talk about after I was trying to think before coming on today that it was probably at least 30 years of yo-yo dieting, I
Yeah,
think.
so talk a little bit about that. What did that look like for you? What was that struggle that you had on a day-to-day basis? How was it showing up?
So what happened for me was I was an intuitive eater until my early 20s and I had two babies and then my body changed and then I started the diet cycle and that set me up for years of trying every diet under the sun.
Mm.
And I would either be on a diet or be in this cycle, as you mentioned, the swing of overeating. So it was either binging or dieting, and constantly obsessing about one or the other. And it was on my mind all the time. And as I look back, never satisfied really with my life in that food area until I found you. And now I look at the 2+ years, and food is such a small part of my life now. I don't think about it except when I start to think about food, I know that means I'm hungry and I need to go get something to eat.
Wow, body wisdom. You're trusting your body wisdom.
Yes.
That's
So
amazing. So it's not like we're talking about not eating. It's not about restriction and deprivation. It's about putting food in its proper place.
correct. And actually, if I have any thoughts of depriving myself, that's when it becomes more of a thought in my mind. So the less credence I give that and the more I just eat what I want and eat when I'm hungry, the better off I am.
Beautiful, beautiful. So talk a little bit about, so stage one, we heard that makes a big difference for you. You know when you're hungry. In stage two, you're letting go of guilt and you're eating what you love. Talk a little bit about the difference that's made or how that shows up in your day-to-day life now.
Yes. And that is huge for me because that was always a thing, right? Like you talk about, like it was always in your mind. Is this good? Is this bad? Am I good? Am I bad because I ate it? And letting that go and learning to just eat what you feel like eating. And as you mentioned, I have found over this 2+ years that it very much balances out. Some days, I really want salad or, it just, when you don't think about it or don't put labels on it, I have seen that it very much balances out. I think I shared with you recently, I've been on a cruise, I've been through holidays, I've been through all different things in over 2 years, and it literally has balanced out completely over that time for me. The
Oh,
swings have been just normal, like I don't have the big swings anymore at all. The big swings of I'm on, I'm off. It's holiday season, it's not holiday season. It's all just reminding myself to just eat when I'm hungry, not eat when I'm not hungry. And, I try to, like we've talked about, eat what I really feel like eating and leave what I don't. And I find that that really takes all of that overeating. For me, it has taken all of that away. I can't tell you the last time I ate to that feeling of uncomfortably full.
wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. talk a little bit about emotional eating.
My family suffered a death in
Oh,
our
right,
family. My
right.
son-in-law passed away at quite a young age. And I remember sitting in my car many days, binging on cake and other things because that was my coping mechanism at that
Mm,
time of my life. I
mm,
was taking care of everyone around me. And so I would use my lunch hour at work and go sit in my car and eat. And it did ease the pain for whatever reason during that time. And I know now, after working with you, that it's what I had to do to get through it. And so I've forgiven myself for it. At the time, it just made me feel worse. And it was kind of a secretive thing. And, I would throw the trash away in the dumpster, like where I was, because I wouldn't want to take it home or take it back to work, certainly, and throw it away in the trash can at work.
mm.
But again, I've come to give myself grace and realize it's what I needed to get through at that point in my life. And there are a lot of worse things I could have done, and you just learn that we're human and it's what I needed to cope. And it worked at the time, but now I've learned a lot of other ways to cope. And I like yoga now. I like to go take a walk. And I really have learned to stop and just think about
Yeah.
things and dig a little deeper. And like you said, get curious. And you're surprised sometimes at what the answers are.
Yes. I know your family is very important to you, especially after all that you've been through.
I became a grandmother while working with Michelle, and that was another big thing for me is that one, you find that your grandchildren accept you no matter what, and you see that beauty of how we put all these things on ourselves that you notice that a young person doesn't even care about, and you start to question why you've put all these
Mm,
things on yourself. And I do want to be a good example for them. I also have two daughters, and I would love for them to learn to just be comfortable in their own skin. And I just think we're all so hard on ourselves. And this process not only has given me food freedom, but it's given me the body freedom to just, I think through the program we talked about, I love clothes, and part of what held me back and kept me dieting is because I always felt like I had to be a certain size to wear certain things. And I got rid of all the clothes that didn't fit or didn't quite look right. And I just enjoy my clothes, and I get compliments all the time. And the size doesn't matter. That, I just have learned to be more comfortable in my own skin, and to realize that none of us are ever perfect. So if it's not one thing, it's going to be another. So and
yes.
I hope that I convey that to my children and my grandchildren and would not focus on the minutia of looks and things like that anymore.
Calories and carbs and fat grams
Yes.
and all that. So,
Yes. If my
yes.
grandchildren want an ice cream, I'm all about going with them to get an ice cream and making that memory and that fun. Or if they want to make cookies or they want to make granola bars or whatever it is, I
Yeah.
try not to, obsess over these things anymore.
I am so grateful to you. I know that you shared with me that you wanted to inspire other people to have the freedom that you've had, and I think you did exactly that, and I'm very grateful to you.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope everyone can find this freedom. I'm very grateful to you for helping me get here.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It's a joy.